you ever wonder why you struggle to manifest some things but can easily manifest others? Why certain techniques work really easily sometimes but not always? It's not because you're not visualizing deeply enough or you're not affirming enough. The key that you're missing out on is beliefs. If you're struggling to manifest something, it is always because of a limiting belief, usually one that's really tiny that you aren't aware of, that if you were to identify and change, you'd be off to the races. So today I want to tell you about the most underrated approach to manifesting that everyone seems to be sleeping on. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the three-pronged technique, which is the most powerful manifesting technique I've found to change limiting beliefs into beliefs that'll work for you so that you can effortlessly manifest the desires that you want. And I've seen it turn around so many people's lives where they're stuck manifesting something for weeks, months, sometimes even years, and not getting anywhere until they're able to find that one limiting belief that's holding them back and change it. The only people who think that beliefs don't create reality are the ones who don't actually know what the word beliefs refers to, or the ones who can't zoom out and see the bigger picture. And I'll debunk their most common counter arguments later. Hi, I'm Leanna, and I'm obsessed with talking about manifestation. I've read dozens of books on the topic, and I think that it's the most important thing that people need to know today. So we've all heard of limiting beliefs and how they can stop our manifestation. But how is it that one tiny belief can have such an impact? So first off, it's important to properly understand what a belief is. At its essence, belief means assumption. If you just Google define belief or define assumption, you'll see that they mean exactly the same thing. The definition of a belief is an acceptance that a statement is true, and the definition of an assumption is a thing that is accepted as true. Remember, this is the law of assumption we're talking about here. And when you realize that they mean the same thing, you understand that the law of assumption is the law of belief. You can use them interchangeably. So to say that assumptions don't create reality is completely absurd. So that's the official dictionary definition, but a more practical definition is that beliefs are strong ideas you have about reality. They are thoughts that you've thought so many times that you just accept them as true without even realizing that they don't have to be true. You've become blind to it. You take it as fact. According to Seth, beliefs are thoughts reinforced by imagination and emotion. Your beliefs generate emotion, not the other way around. Basically, beliefs shape your mental diet. If you have limiting beliefs like I'm not good enough, or SP doesn't like to commit, or SP is a serial cheater, then automatically you're gonna think thoughts like, oh, how do I stop them from cheating? How do I stop them from looking at other people on Instagram? How do I lock them down? You probably wouldn't naturally be thinking thoughts like, oh my goodness, he's so loyal. I never have to worry about him. He's really family oriented. He's a family man. Of course, you can forcefully have good thoughts of commitment and loyalty, but these won't follow naturally if you have these beliefs. They're gonna cause you to worry. If you fully believe that you were worthy and that they were loyal, why would you ever entertain these thoughts of fear? You wouldn't. So you can think of your brain as a factory of thoughts, feelings, or imaginings. Like an assembly line. So you got this machinery here on this assembly line. This is your brain. Out of here come thoughts. So you have bad thoughts, which I'll signify with these spiky red things, and then you have good thoughts, which are these little happy blue circles. So you could either set the factory to be making these blue circles or these red spikes. And this is where beliefs come into play, because you can either have your beliefs automatically generating good thoughts for you in the form of these blue circles, or you can have your beliefs generating bad thoughts and feelings and expectations for you. So of course, you don't have to change your beliefs. You could just have the machine set to always creating bad thoughts, and then later on, you can change those bad thoughts into good thoughts, but it takes so much effort. You have to counter every single bad thought and create it into a good thought. So this is what a lot of techniques do, where they have you catch yourself in a bad thought and then try to replace it or undo it or flip it, which is fine. I'm not saying that doesn't work, it does work. But what is way easier is if you just go all the way upstream and you realize you don't have to even be creating these bad thoughts in the first place. You can be creating good thoughts if you just change your beliefs, which would be analogous to just setting the machine to only be thinking good thoughts, good feelings, and visualizations that are in line with what you want. So you can think of this as sort of like a factory of thoughts, feelings, and imaginings. And when you're able to change your beliefs, then you don't have to do all this extra work here downstream. You can just set basically the machine to work and it'll work in your favor. That way, you'll just effortlessly have good feelings, good expectations, good visuals that align with what you want to have, and your desire will come that much quicker. So that's what the three-pronged technique does. That's why I feel like this is the most underrated technique that everyone sleeps on. It helps you change a negative belief into a positive belief. Now, this technique was developed by Seth, the entity that was channeled by Jane Roberts, who wrote The Nature of Personal Reality. My hands down favorite book on manifesting, by the way. Highly recommend. But basically, the three-pronged technique is 1, you generate the emotion opposite the one that arises from the old undesired belief. 2, you turn your imagination in the opposite direction from the old belief. And 3, you consciously assure yourself that the unsatisfactory belief is an idea about reality and not an aspect of reality itself. So I'll explain how to do this with examples. So let's say that you have the limiting belief that you're not SP's type. So the old belief is, SP doesn't like people like me. The new belief is, I am SP's type. So step 1 would be to generate the emotion opposite of that old belief. So instead of feeling sad or rejected or unloved or unwanted, you would instead feel the new emotion of feeling happy, loved, desired, attractive. So step 2 is turn your imagination in the direction opposite the belief. So the old imagination would be things like SP ignoring you or friend zoning you, looking at other people, not responding to like your attempts to talk to them or flirt with them. But your new imagination would be SP saying things like, you're so awesome, I can't believe we never connected before, or I can't believe I didn't recognize that before, or like, I had no idea you were so fun to be around, I love funny girls, or guys, or you're really beautiful and really handsome, etc. And then step 3 would be to consciously assure yourself that your unsatisfactory belief is just a belief about reality and not an aspect of reality. And so that means you're telling yourself it's not necessarily true even though I believe in it. It's just a belief you have. It's not like a rock-fed, unchangeable truth or fact about reality. So Seth said, you must realize that any idea you accept as truth is a belief that you hold. You must then take the next step and say, it is not necessarily true even though I believe it. You will, I hope, learn to disregard all beliefs that imply basic limitations. So you tell yourself, it's not necessarily true. It doesn't matter that he's dated so many girls that are a specific type in the past, or it doesn't matter that she tends to go for guys that are not like me. It doesn't matter. You think that it's true, but it could just be that just happens to be who they dated. Or maybe they haven't discovered their type yet. Maybe they thought that was their type, but it turns out they like people like you so much more. If only they got to know what you were really like. Or maybe, as people do, they changed. I mean, the people you liked as a teenager are not the kind of people that you like today, probably. So let's do another example. Let's say that you're trying to manifest wealth, but you have the belief that making money is really hard in a bad economy. So that's the old belief. And the new belief would be something along the lines of making money is easy in a bad economy, or making money is easy for me in any economy. So step 1, turn your emotions in the direction opposite the old belief. So instead of feeling poverty, sadness, or hopelessness, or feeling like lack of motivation that the odds are stacked against you, you would instead feel like really excited, really motivated, really thrilled, like there's a ton of opportunities around the corner, all over the place. There's just so many ways that you can make money, you don't even know which one to pick. Step 2, you turn your imagination in the direction opposite of the old belief. So with the old belief, you would imagine things like businesses aren't hiring, or you keep getting rejected, or places just are letting people go, people are being scared to buy, your sales are drying up. You would switch that old imagination to the new imagination, the complete opposite, which is that people are lining up to buy from you, tons of recruiters are reaching out to you, businesses are like desperate to hire people like you. The changes in the economy open up all these opportunities for you that weren't there before. Or folks are telling you like, wow, you're so good at that, you should charge for this. Or like, do you sell the stuff that you make? Because I'd like to buy. Where can I buy this? And then step 3, you consciously assure yourself that your old belief is just a belief about reality and not really true. And in this case, it's actually true. Like you can find so many examples of people, wealthy, successful entrepreneurs who will say that they made their fortune during a bad economy. So that's proof that your old belief that money is always hard to make in a bad economy is completely false. Because there's so many people who are living proof of the opposite. And you keep reminding yourself of that there are people who know or who have found a way to make money even when most businesses are not doing well. I've had so many success stories of people who have tried to manifest SP for sometimes years. Sometimes they're told by their SP to never contact them again, or that they'll never date again. Find the limiting beliefs, change them, and then get their SP back within weeks. I've seen people completely turn their careers around. I've even had one person have his celebrity idol in his industry reach out to him directly after he fixed his beliefs. And I've seen a ton of people go from completely unemployed to suddenly being gainfully employed in a really nice job or getting thousands of dollars out of nowhere after they found the beliefs that are holding them back and started to change them. You can think of bad thoughts or feelings like ants or termites. You could spend every day stomping out hundreds of them for the rest of your life, or you can infiltrate the colony and take out the queen. So now on to debunking the naysayers. A lot of them will say, but I manifested something even though I believed I couldn't. Or what about the people who manifested despite having a belief more firmly in the opposite? So to this I'll say, we manifest everything in our lives. Every single source teacher will tell you that. And we all hold beliefs. The thing is, we all hold contradictory beliefs. I don't think there's a single human alive on the planet right now that has a perfect set of beliefs where none of them contradict. And that's totally normal. And yet they're still able to manifest. The thing is, when you hold two conflicting beliefs, they'll both manifest based on how intensely you believe in each of them. And you have to realize there's a sum of all the other beliefs that you have. Beliefs don't work in a vacuum. They don't work in isolation because you constantly have all these other beliefs and assumptions going on. So all the beliefs and assumptions you have are constantly causing you to have specific thoughts, feelings, imaginings. And most of this operates when you're not even aware, just from day to day when you're spacing out, when you're on autopilot. Like for example, I believe that life is pretty safe. I believe that I'm safe. I don't believe that I'm gonna die young. Yet do I believe that car accidents happen? Yeah, they do. And yet I'm not here in a car accident every single time I leave the house. How is that when I believe that car accidents could happen to me? Because the sum of all my other beliefs is more powerful than that. I believe that I live in a safe universe. I believe that nothing is random. I believe that everything happens for a reason. I think that everything that happens to you is a reflection of your inner mind or a bridge of incidents to something that you have been focusing on. I haven't been focusing on death or like being maimed or destruction or anything like that. So why would I get a car accident? Unless it was a bridge to something that I have been manifesting, that I've conditioned to say, no, I don't want it this, that, and the other way. It has to come this way. Or you have people, for example, winning the lottery even though they didn't think they would win, and yet they still do. How is that possible? They didn't believe they could win. Because they still do believe that there is a tiny, tiny chance. If they didn't believe that, they wouldn't have bought the ticket in the first place because they would have just been throwing money away. So even though they didn't believe that they'd win, they held other beliefs that yes, every single person who buys a lottery ticket has a chance to win, even if it's infinitesimally small. They might have other beliefs like God rewards those who are good. If they're religious, they might have other beliefs like I've been a good person and karma exists. Or maybe they've just had the long-standing belief that they will one day be wealthy, they just don't know how. And what pushes them towards winning is that they've been focusing on abundance. They haven't been thinking about lack or bills or poverty. They've been imagining freedom, being charitable, having it all, being stress-free. Another example, a lot of people walk around believing that they're not that attractive, and yet they're still able to find a partner. How? Because they still have other beliefs, maybe beliefs like there's someone out there for everyone, or their personality is likable. There are other beliefs that cause them to believe, yeah, I do have a chance because I'm a good person. Or I may not be the most attractive, but I'm fit and healthy. They have all these good thoughts and feelings that are influenced by other beliefs that they hold. It comes down to what state they dwell in. And again, states are the result of your beliefs and assumptions. Your mental state is just your thoughts, your feelings, your expectations, your imaginings. So to all those people who say you don't have to believe to manifest, I agree completely, yes. But when you realize that belief and assumption mean exactly the same thing, doesn't it sound absurd to say like, well, you can use the law of assumption, but you don't need assumptions? Why would it be named law of assumption if that wasn't the most integral part of the entire system? And to the naysayers, nobody, not Seth, not Neville, not me, no source teacher has ever said that your beliefs have to be perfect. Neville never said that all your assumptions have to be completely pristine and in alignment with what you want. Nobody's beliefs are perfect. Yes, you can manifest with bad beliefs. But Neville also said an assumption, if persisted in, will harden into fact. It will reflect in your reality. And if assumption is the same as belief, why wouldn't you use that? I've also heard of some people say, all you need is mental diet, or all you need is affirmations, or all you need is visualizations. But at its core, what are these things? These are things that happen normally all the time, even when you're not trying to think of them. So mental diet is just like your everyday thoughts. Visualizations happen all the time. Unless you have aphantasia, most of the time when you're just existing, you are picturing something in your head. And whether or not you realize, you affirm things to yourself all the time. Like you might see the news and be like, oh yeah, of course that would happen. Typical, whatever. Or you might think to yourself after a coworker does something, that's Tom again. Tom's always like that. That's an affirmation. Or something will happen and you'll think, if you're really down on yourself, I'm such an idiot, like I always do this. These are affirmations. You think affirmations all the time. You imagine things all the time. You have inner conversations all the time. But these are the results of whatever beliefs you already hold. The specific thoughts, imaginings, and affirmations you do in your head are the results of beliefs that you have. So yeah, you can affirm against your belief or imagine against your belief, and then for the other 23 hours of the day, you just go back to autopilot thinking the opposite of what you want, doing negative affirmations against what you want or imagining negative things. Yeah, so if people say you don't need to change your beliefs to manifest, that's like saying to water your garden, you don't have to point the garden hose at the flowers. You could just point it somewhere else and then scoop some water up and manually walk over to your flowers and dump the water there. But why would you want to do that? Like, is that really good advice to be giving people? Don't point the garden hose at the flowers? It's just so much more work. And what I've noticed is that for the people who are pushing a specific technique only above all else and who are saying that you don't have to change your beliefs or assumptions, those are always the people who are pushing a technique that does not work 100% of the time. You'll find a lot of people will say, okay, I've tried your technique, but I'm encountering difficulty. Or maybe you have experienced that, or you've tried their foolproof technique that doesn't require belief changing, and it's not working. Wonder why? Beliefs will dictate what your thoughts and imaginings will be, and your emotions from moment to moment. When your thoughts, feelings, and visualizations are in line with what you want, then you'll effortlessly manifest what you want. And since you know that thoughts, feelings, and imaginings come from beliefs upstream, then doesn't it make sense to change the belief upstream so that you can effortlessly just have the thoughts, feelings, and imaginings that you want to be having? So identify every belief that's working against you and switch it to a belief that'll work for you. And if you read Neville's books, he often says dozens of times that beliefs are key to manifesting what you want. So for the small percentage of doubters who still don't think that beliefs create reality, I have a handful of Neville Goddard quotes here for you. I'll start reading them out, but there's a lot of them. There's so many, I don't think that I can read them all out. I might just post them so you can read them. By the way, Neville Goddard wrote a book called Prayer, the Art of Believing. If that doesn't convince you that he knows that beliefs create reality, I don't know what will. To move into another state or mansion necessitates a change of beliefs. All that you could ever desire is already present and only waits to be matched by your beliefs. So in that quote, when he says mansions, he's referring to possible outcomes or states. So that quote, John 14:2, says, "In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not true, I would not have told you so." It basically means that all probabilities exist. All you have to do is go to them. You pick the reality that you want with your mental actions. When belief and will are in conflict, belief invariably wins. It is not what you want that you attract. You attract what you believe to be true. The objective world reflects the beliefs of the subjective mind. You cannot fail unless you fail to convince yourself of the reality of your wish. A change of belief is confirmed by a change of expression. All things are possible to him that believeth. When you pray, believe that you have received them, and you shall have them. You are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe this is the only reason you do not see it. What a comfort it is to know that all that I experience is the result of my own standard of beliefs, that I am the center of my own web of circumstances, and that as I change, so must my outer world. As soon as you succeed in convincing yourself of the reality of the state sought, results follow to confirm your fixed belief. Control of the subconscious is dominion over all. Each state obeys one's mind control. Control of the subconscious is accomplished through control of your beliefs, which in turn is the all-potent factor in the visible states. In consciousness, all states exist subjectively and are awakened to their objective existence by belief. Make the impossible possible through your belief, and the impossible to others will embody itself in your world. When this belief is so firmly established that you feel confident in results, your desire will embody itself. Seth also said, in Nature of Personal Reality, you are given the gift of the gods. You create your reality according to your beliefs. Yours is the creative energy that makes your world. There are no limitations to the self except those you believe in. You create reality according to your beliefs and expectations. Therefore, it behooves you to examine your beliefs and expectations very clearly. Now, if you think your beliefs are good, but you're still not seeing movement, then check out this video on the most common reasons you're not getting your manifestation. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next video.